Entrepreneur's Enigma is a podcast for the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, so the wins and the fails that we all face being entrepreneurs, how we learn from adversity. Every week I talk to a different entrepreneur with a story to tell. I'm Seth Goldstein. Come with me on the journey. This is Entrepreneur's Enigma. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Entrepreneur's Enigma podcast. By now, you know who the hell I am. You really do. I'm Seth. I'm your host.
Who the hell are you? What?
And that guy is we'll call you the indomitable Erin Sparks of Site Strategics. He's the president since 2004. He's also the chief bottle washer, chief mastermind behind Edge of the Web, along with Jacob Mann, he actually has a sound guy on my podcast, making him sound really good.
Yes, he is. And do you want to speak up there, Jake?
I sure will.
You can say hi. You can say hi.
Yeah. All right. Turn it off now.
Turn it off now. So,
no, he's awesome. Actually, he makes my job really, really easy. Right?
You just need to talk, and he just makes it sound good.
Just got to give him the props because he doesn't get that many on a regular basis.
Exactly. And, Jacob's the man. He
is the man. He also does a lot on site. So we do a lot of live broadcasts and recording.
Yeah, you actually make money off your studio. So you don't just have a studio that you do your own shows, which you do Edge of the Web Radio, which is both an interview podcast. I'm not going to say this as well as you do, but both an interview podcast and a weekly show where you just cover the headlines. A lot of Barry Schwartz in it.
We love Barry Schwartz.
Oh, how can you not love Barry Schwartz?
Well, behind Jacob is actually a shirt from Barry Schwartz, a signed shirt that he mailed us.
I love it. I love it. Barry's
I think
awesome.
Jacob won it in a raffle or something like that. So we actually have it framed behind Jacob.
Oh, that's awesome. Does Barry know that it's framed?
Oh, yeah.
So Barry, for everyone who doesn't know, is even more prolific than Erin. He writes like 3 or 4 blog posts a day on each site he runs, and somehow still runs a software company. I don't know how he does it. Yeah. I don't know how you do it, honestly. I mean, you have a good team, but you have what you do. You do the interview show, you do the Edge of the Web radio show, the overall
the news,
but which I think is harder because you have Morty on it. Everyone who doesn't know Morty Oberstein,
it's like whack-a-mole. It really is trying to get through.
He's like me, only more ADD.
I think he's the poster child. Yeah,
he is the poster child. And I love Morty to death. He's a great guy, but rag on. So it's fun. Yeah. So anyhow, Erin is the owner of Site Strategics, a company that he founded in 2004, and he's high-end web services for small and mid-sized businesses in the U.S. He's done this for just a little bit of time. And like I said, he is the creative force. That's his words. The creative force behind Edge of the Web Radio podcast. We'll have all these links in this show, but you're the longest running SEO podcast, aren't you? Or it seems like that.
I believe so. At this point in time, this is our 13th year running. We've got, are we at 680 episodes or something like that? And that's the official count. That technically we actually have more than that.
Oh, you always have stuff. You should always have stuff in the hopper.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But we've been around for a while, and Google finally has blessed us to be at the top of the rank for SEO podcasts. Got us in the carousel, things like that. Even in the knowledge graph, we now have the entity of Edge of the Web. So that's always fun. And
that's fun.
So we've been doing our own marketing, our own.
Does anyone search for it though? That's the thing. You either know about Edge of the Web or the SEO podcast, maybe. But Edge of the Web Radio, they probably don't search for it. It's more of like, oh, that's just cool. That's just cool.
You search for Edge of the Web and you get an episode of Mannix from the 80s.
Oh, wow.
We're right next to Mannix.
Oh, that's kind of funny. So so we'll go back to your whole creative journey with the agency and all that, but how have you avoided pod fade? 13 years. I mean, I've been doing this since 2010, podcasts.
Right.
But one podcast, I mean, but for 13 years, geez Louise.
Yeah, and it keeps on getting bigger. Every time we sit down in a production meeting, we end up coming up with some additional things to do with the podcast. So that's one good thing. But I think at the root of it for me is that I'm constantly wanting to learn,
Yeah.
and doing the news and doing interviews with subject matter experts puts me right there in the foxhole. It's almost like a forced function, right? Is that you're forcing yourself to learn weekly. And
That's what I do with this podcast.
That's the only way that I can keep understanding what's happening in the marketplace. So it is
other than having a Google alert for Barry Schwartz.
right, exactly, right.
And then sometimes it's nice to hear it verbally, than have to read his, because he writes a lot. I mean, these are like two or three articles a day, and they're not short articles.
No, they're not. No, and their headlines are impeccable, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he's on point with that. I mean, this is not the Barry show. This is the Erin show right now. But still.
the deal is that from a learning standpoint, actually having to digest and then feed it back to a dialogue and be able to actually also have opinions on it. I just realized I was talking to my mother days ago, and we're just talking about how I studied in school, and I always did cram sessions.
Oh, you're one of those guys.
I am, and it's been a 13-year cram session, to be honest with you, because I'll actually get ready for the show, sometimes even 2 hours before the show, but just jam my head into the space.
See, I don't even do that. I usually I have a preliminary call with a person. I mean, I knew you had all the tech because you do this for a living. So I didn't have to, and we've already talked a little bit, and I kind of get the sense of who you are and stuff like that. So I didn't have to do a preliminary meeting. Other than that, I don't prep. I as a journalist, as a former journalist, you're kind of trained to kind of fly by the seat of your pants. Go where the conversation goes, and just have fun with it, And people are always like, "Oh, you want the questions?" I'm like, if you listen to this show, it's the same 3 damn questions every single show, and you're gonna get them. But it's like the same 3 episodes. We're gonna take a quick break here from our sponsors and get right back to the show.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Whenever we're talking about some of these concepts that we talk about on the show,
you have to prep.
Part of the prep, I'll build an entire deck of questions, and I'll rarely go through that in sequence. It's almost like my journaling of I'm getting these points down, and by the effort of doing it, I'll get it in my mind. So whenever I'm actually asking the questions, I've got my handrails in one way, shape, or form.
Or if you have a junior moment, you can kind of go back and say, well, what's it going to ask?
Exactly. So it's not really a script. It's more of, it's a discipline of actually getting it in place. So I am now in the moment, understanding the concept, understanding the different thoughts around the concept, as well as what the guest thoughts are going to be. So I just kind of train myself in that space and then jump out. And then we have an organic conversation. And ultimately,
it just flows. Exactly. And that's what I like about your show, is that it just flows. Even the news flows. Even with Morty, it flows. Because you kind of come to your show, you're expecting banter. you fully expect it. And that's what I like about your show versus other SEO podcasts. A lot of them are buttoned up and snore, and then that's going to come great
NPR,
in audio.
Sweaty balls kind of thing, right?
Exactly, and then yours are fun. Even the interview ones are a little bit more buttoned up. I mean, they are buttoned up versus completely 1990s open button-down shirt open. That's a deep reference there, but But I mean, literally, the news, the news one is just kind of like you're chewing the fat with Morty and Jacob, and you're having a good time, and there's some knowledge that you kind of sneak in there. And before you know, you're learning something, but you're having fun doing it, which I love. So, but to go ahead.
In our interview prep, we actually really tried to crack up and make jokes with the guests beforehand, just to level set, get everything out of the way. That it's their show, right? We're navigating with them. If they want to go someplace, we're prepared to go there. Yeah.
So, what got you into Site Strategics? That's your web agency. How did you find your way into this whole?
Oh my Lord!
Whack-a-mole of a industry. It is whack-a-mole right now.
Yeah, it really. Oh my gosh, it is. Weirdly enough, I actually went through college studying philosophy and realized I could not actually make money in philosophy. So I jumped into computer science. Right.
Oh, there you go.
Fast forward and started my own web dev company right out of college, and ultimately moved from that sole proprietorship over to other marketing firms, where I was the web guy or the internal geek. Everybody had to have one.
How you fix this? Yeah.
But ultimately, I kept on pushing the button on the SEO side of things, because sites sites were being built as just matching collateral with all the print content that was coming out of these marketing agencies. Like, no. There's an entire treasure trove of non-branded traffic out there, guys. The conventional, traditional marketing firms wouldn't get a hold of it because of the accountability. Is that okay? What if it doesn't happen? They're holding the bag. And that's really where I got a bit of disdain from just traditional marketing, because there's not that much accountability in that space.
There isn't.
As opposed
it's hard to track
digital.
too.
It really is. I mean, if you get so many returns on that direct mailing piece, what are the variables that you really were able to steer to be able to get that, as opposed to digital? So
digital is a lot more trackable. I mean, even some of it now it's trackable to an extent,
right?
But you got to think outside the box now. Like with AI, I'm starting to talk to my clients about how to get the citations not in the knowledge graph anymore, in Perplexity. Get Perplexity or get ChatGPT to actually say, here's all the output, but down here is where I got it from. Oh, it's from Erin at Edge of the Web.
Oh, wow.
And they're going to click in on that and read more. I always find people click in from these things because they want to read more, or they don't trust AI fully and they want to see who this Erin guy is, kind of thing. So I've been trying to work on
Erin Sparks, who's a botanist, I think, out of Vanderbilt, and we keep on battling my knowledge graph with her knowledge graph. And if anybody's in Vanderbilt, I really can't say hit job, can I?
No, you can't do that. You can't do that. No, you got to pay her off to change her name.
Exactly.
I'm a more famous Seth Goldstein.
That's the thing, is that she's a accredited scientist, and the journals. Scientific references.
She's got more backlinks than you do.
Absolutely.
And good ones.
The authority in that. And the good ones, right.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah. I have a Seth Goldstein that is an angel investor out in Southern California. And back when I was back on X, he was at Seth. I was at Seth Goldstein. I would have to redirect his tweets to him.
Oh, wow.
People would cite him as Seth Goldstein because most logical people would use your full name. But I got that. He got at Seth. And when Facebook came around and started giving you usernames, we were both on Instant Messenger, on Facebook Messenger at the time, at 12 midnight when that happened. And I hit refresh too fast and I ended up with an M in my name.
Oh.
And he got Seth Goldstein. I'm like, and he's teasing me. And he's like, ha ha.
Oh, jeez.
I'm like, very professional for an angel investor, that kind of thing.
There was a tool that you could use a while back called Noam.com, where you could actually squat on your business on all of these different platforms and be able to do it in one fell swoop. I don't know if that's still around.
No, I think the APIs have cut that down, but something like that. So site strategic,
Back to my story.
Yeah.
I jumped into another different marketing firms, and ultimately I was not seeing that we were bringing success to these companies that were bringing their nest egg to these marketing firms. They have a chance to be able to really rank well. So set up my own company, 2004.
Wow. I had just graduated from college. Not to make you feel old. I graduated college. So.
Not to make you feel old. Wow.
But you're old.
Right. I have a few gray hairs nowadays.
But anyway, I'm younger than you and I have more gray hair. Yeah.
I think you do, actually.
I have a lot of gray hair. I'm all gray.
See, the constant cram sessions keep me perpetually young. That's what I think.
Knowledge is power, right?
or just lack of sleep just keeps me. I don't know. It's keeping me youth. Gives me some youthful vigor there. Anyway.
Exactly. So back to this. You used Site Strategic in 2004.
Traveled there, and we're really focused on SEO and other digital marketing touch points. Building websites that were successful, strategic and successful websites, and moving towards. I've always been wanting to educate, because, especially SEO, you got to educate your clients. You got to be able to demonstrate the ethereal, right? You're selling the invisible. Right?
It's hard. It's hard to justify until you can show that there's actually some return, or there's a potential for return. Yeah.
It made logical sense to actually start getting this communication into the ears on traditional radio, so we started to buy a spot on a local radio station.
Oh, you did old school.
Oh, yeah. So we were broadcasting at 7 a.m. on Saturday. Who the hell wants to listen to digital marketing at 7 a.m. on Saturday?
Not the best spot, but I'm sure it's a little cheaper, though, than having like
It was a
drive
little bit
time.
cheaper, and we immediately started grabbing our audio and started to create the podcast from that. And I was giving some pushback on the stations, going, "All right, you realize I'm not getting any calls in. I'm not getting any type of
Traditional
participation."
marketing. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So literally, one of their sales guys called from a golf course, called into the show just to appease me. It's like, all right, I'm done.
It's time to leave that medium.
we were doing a number of different radio stations, and ultimately we started getting the video and curating our content more and more. And shag a carpet can only go so far in a radio station whenever you're doing video. So we picked up and started to build out our own studio in 2016. Really cool. Thank you, I appreciate it.
I mean, it's neat. I mean, you got big screen TV, which is usually taken up by Morty's huge head, which is terrifying, I have to say. Yeah. I mean, I love Morty. He's not a bad looking dude, but when it's that big behind you, it's like Oz. Great, wonderful Oz. Only it's Morty.
Oh my gosh, we ought to actually.
You can use that. You can attribute it to me, saying I was talking to Seth, and he'll know who I am. Morty knows me, unfortunately.
So we built this guy up in 2016 and built the studio with the full goal of offering our local business here in Indianapolis the ability to actually come in and do podcasting. So we created a kind of a brand neutral studio where we can actually customize the lights, the design of the entire site, the entire.
So you run this all over your basement, right?
Yeah, exactly. Mom, I'm on the podcast, Mom.
Exactly. Kids run down all of a sudden. Morty's like, what happens to Morty? Unfortunately, he's in his kitchen.
That's true. So 2016, we've been cultivating this, and we really built a model where people can come in, record raw. They can give them their raw asset. We can also go the full mix of production. So we've really gotten our chops in
you get yourself a Jacob
podcast production. Yeah, and that's a good deal attributable to Jacob's investment. But on top of that, actually involvement. But on top of that, we also go remote on this. So we actually have a remote studio that we go on location, so we can capture not just audio, not just video, but also do live stream. We've been brought
you did that. You did that at Brighton SEO in San Diego.
San Diego, yep.
And so Morty was still off the rails. He was even more off the rails because you couldn't edit him that much.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I've learned my lesson there, right? If I'm
love
having
you, Morty.
Yeah. My gosh. Yeah, he was literally looking at my tattoo. What the crap was that?
That was pretty funny.
Anyway, so we've built a whole nother product from our company, which is the entire media side of things, media production side of things. But it has a very tight connection to marketing, obviously, because marketing firms should be creating the content for their clients in this omnichannel space.
Yes.
Right.
There's the word omnichannel. You get that into your ad. You get that into your ad read every time. I'm very impressed that it just flows off the mouth.
Well, it's all the touch points, and I'll double down on this. This is what Google's listening and watching for. It's that mosaic of understanding that it has of you, the entity, right? Either you a person or you a brand. Does it understand you through the video space, through the audio space, through the content on your site, as well as social media space? Does it actually understand you in all these different lanes?
It's wild.
Because it's parsing content, it's transcribing content, it understands all the digital wake that you create. If it's just in an on-page reference, then you're not really capitalizing on everything that it's listening for. So
exactly,
we've built this for our clients, and we also not only produce media, omnichannel media for our clients, but we also use the studio as an interview method to get to learn our clients more. And we pan for gold. We'll have 2 or 3 hour sessions where we're talking to the subject matter experts, finding their nuggets of information that aren't online or gap analysis on their competitors, going, you know what, this is a really good space to leverage, and we'll have that organic back and forth, that interview process, and we'll find some incredible value there. Then we transcribe it, curate it, and get it into all the different channels.
Chop it up and all that stuff. It's great. Sir. It's fantastic. So so you've done old school marketing. You've done digital marketing for companies. You also done it for yourself for, what is it, 25 years, which is insane. You know, because back in the Stone Age, I started in the Stone Age, so I started in 1998, but back in the Stone Age when we were doing this, it was a completely different ball game, and it seems like now every week is something different versus like every year something changed. Now it's every minute even. Like I think Perplexity just told me that Microsoft did something else weird with their open source model, which was like, you heard about that, you know, how they released it without testing it for bad words pretty much and bad thoughts. And then, of course, once it's out there. And boy, was it out there. But
it's crazy. These releases where we are all being beta tested, right?
Oh, it's interesting and scary at the same time. So what is the most important thing that you have learned about entrepreneurship that you like the best about it? What's the best thing about being an entrepreneur?
I think the best thing is to be able to steer towards a blue ocean, to be able to actually say, you know what, there is a there, and you're not trapped in the corporate structure and the corporate deliverables. You have direct steerage and accountability too, because with that comes a lot of
Erin,
yeah, exactly. But we have the ability to steer towards something that we see, and we have to have good reasoning for that. But we see is a valuable investment of time, and you just don't get that in the corporate environment unless you're all the way through the corporate ladder. And at that point in time, you don't have the pulse of
then you're detached.
Behavior change. You're detached from the metrics, right?
Absolutely.
In an entrepreneurial, especially in digital marketing, you can actually rally the team. We go there, we experiment, and we have that collective view of this really did change this for a 35% growth in impressions. Let's do more of this, right? So it's
nice versus having the sales rep call into your radio show saying, "Hi,
I'm on the golf course. What you're saying is really striking to me." You've got musicians in the band mentality here. At Site Strategics, and we're all playing a part. And we go where we want to go to be able to deliver success for our clients.
Love it. So on the flip side, what keeps you up at night? Besides, I think you also have a herd of kids, don't you? Don't you have like 5 kids?
You got 4 kids.
4 kids.
And Jacob's got 4 kids. And Morty's got 4 kids. My Lord.
There's a lot of kids there. It's a whole family reunion right there.
We still don't know how that actually happens. I have no idea.
But other than that keeping you up at night, what business-wise, what keeps you up at night?
I think making sure that I tend to go chase squirrels a lot, and I want to be able to bring that back and focus the team on things that I think are valuable, right?
Yeah.
But we still have to process it, and I think a lot of times what I get frustrated with is that we don't process and steer towards certain things as quickly as I would like, right? But at the same time, it's good that way, because if you keep on chasing squirrels, legitimate squirrels, it does give everybody a good deal of whiplash as we're moving back and forth. So
I drive my team
there's some internal discipline that we've instilled that I'll go hunt some concepts down, but we also have to vet these concepts out as well.
And try them out and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure that keeps you up at night, waking up in the middle of the night saying, I have an idea, and your wife's saying, go to back to bed. If you remember in tomorrow morning, it's worth keeping.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, I actually had that a couple days ago. But I mean, at the same time, you can't do everything with a small shop, right?
How big is Site Strategics?
We've got 7 full times, and we also have a number of partners actually reside in the same building from traditional marketing. So we actually have a relationship with another marketing firm, so we can go into PR and print, but we don't have to staff
omnichannel, baby.
Omnichannel. But we also have other subcontractors that have been with us for a long time as well.
Yeah, that's how that goes. Yeah. So what is the most? Oh, go ahead.
Well, I guess I finished at the point, but it's the pursuit of what keeps me up is that there's so many things out there, right?
Yeah.
We can't do everything, and I look at LiIy Ray's company and other companies. Michael King over there, and they've got a suite of
he's
people
writing books, and he's even doing rap albums for crying out loud.
Absolutely. And they're
Will Reynolds is running marathons. Like I'm just sitting on my fat ass all day.
Yeah, I think I would love to be able to expand into a number of different services, but we're a SEO SWAT team.
Yeah.
So we got to focus keep very focused on the things that we are very good and good at, right? So
awesome. So what is the most important thing to carry with you all the time? This can be as woo-woo as you want to go.
The most important thing that I what?
That you carry with you all the time. Jacob's cell phone number. He's
the most
cringing right
important
now.
thing that I carry with me, most recently, is lip balm.
There you go. It's getting dry out there now. It's getting warm.
What do I carry with me all the time? Well, I would love to say another magazine of ammo, but this is probably not the best audience for that. I think I carry my that Remarkable tablet. You know,
I love it. Remarkable. I have it right here. Yeah.
That thing has really turned me around. I used to have journals and journals. Yeah.
Oh, I had
journals and
piles.
journals and journals where I would finish half the book and then pick up another fresh journal because I liked the feel of a fresh journal.
Yeah, nothing's
right?
worse than a beat up journal. It's like, oh.
But that Remarkable is actually so cool, and I've actually given that to my kids in college because you're syncing up to your computer. You can actually it's a digital notebook, it's a digital journal.
And they're not a paid sponsor either. Just fantastic.
No, they're not.
They're just
I
fantastic.
probably should actually knock on their door. No, I think that's been one of them. I carry that around everywhere, and any regardless of business or family or faith, right? If I'm taking notes, I'm going to whip that thing out because I can actually digitize it, kick it into a PDF. I can email notes to myself and things like that. So
and you still have to decipher it because it's like paper.
Right.
So it's chicken scratch and all that. It does not recognize my handwriting at all. Because the only thing worse than doctor handwriting is journalism handwriting, journalist handwriting. I mean, it's like one giant line, and you have to decipher what that line is different from that line.
You get to draw. And the cool thing, one of the cool things, whenever we're in a business meeting, you can throw your Remarkable, cast it to your screen.
Yeah.
Right, and actually you can draw out just like white paper or whiteboard your different concepts. So it gives another dimension to those virtual meetings as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I like that thing.
Awesome. Well, good endorsement for Morty, a good endorsement for Jacob, a good endorsement for the whole SEO community and Barry. But Erin, where can they find the indomitable? I think that's in that right. Where can they find you online? Where's your main watering hole? I'm still trying to get you back in the Mastodon more.
Oh boy, I tell you what, I did walk off that. I got to get back to that platform.
I'm on Morty right now saying you get SEO chat on Mastodon just as easy. And he's like, oh, it's too hard. I'm like, no, it's not.
It's real easy, and it's just that whole exodus really did show a need for decentralization. It really did.
It did.
So I've got a Mastodon profile out there. I swear I'll get back there. Seth, thank you very much.
I'll keep harping on you. I keep on tooting at you guys. Tooting. Oh, it's horrible. It's called tooting.
It is, and just makes me hungry for beans. Unfortunately.
Wah, wah, wah.
Dad joke. So you can find me over on X, Twitter, Erin Sparks. But look for us on SEO Podcast. You'll be able to find Edge of the Web, Site Strategic.
And if you can't, let them know.
Yeah, exactly. I need to know this. You can search me for Erin Sparks SEO because I'm still not toppling her knowledge graph.
And
but
it's also ERIN, like the Irish Erin.
Yeah. Thank you very much, as opposed to a girl's name.
No, it's Irish because Sparks, Erin Sparks.
It is Irish. And actually, and my mom's British, and she named me after Ireland. But I had the curse of the boy named Sue all the way through my childhood. So see how that went. But you can't
none for the wear, right? None for the wear.
No. You can't swing a dead cat and not find me out there jabbering about SEO.
See that or botanist at Vanderbilt, one of those two.
No, we don't go there.
We don't go there. We'll leave that alone. We'll leave that on the cutting room floor. Well, Erin, this has been great.
We certainly like your input on how we do on the show as well. We're always looking for.
I'm always giving my input, or busting a Morty, one of the two.
Yeah, and please help us as we deal with Morty all the time. Give us a review out there because this is not a labor of love. This is painful each and every week.
Painfully but fun at the same time because you can tell it's like, oh, he went there, but it's also like, oh, That was kind of fun. Look, I mean, that's what I like about it. It's not NPR.
Yeah.
Podcasting
No.
is not NPR. We're not Terry Gross. We're
Yeah.
not talking like this.
Oh my gosh.
No, we're shooting this shit and having a good time.
We were really trying to come up with what we could put in a Patreon channel, but the edits and the outtakes and the pre-show would get us in so much trouble. we got nothing left.
Yeah, exactly. You're enough off the rails as it is with the edited one. So
yeah, you got that right.
Nothing else to share. All right, Erin, thank you so much for being on the show, and we'll see everyone next week.
Thanks, Seth.
That was a great show. If you're enjoying Entrepreneur's Enigma, please review us in the podcast directory of your choice. Every review helps other podcast listeners find our show. If you're looking for other podcasts in the marketing space, look no further than the Marketing Podcast Network at marketingpodcasts.net. Goldstein Media hopes you have enjoyed this episode.